Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is a presentation on a statistical analysis to confirm if the gender of a person is affecting one's tendency to plan in the scope of European nations. This presentation explores the relationship between the gender and the levels of planning. The question is, why bother? Based on studies of various researchers, conclusions were made that young males' time management skills were not as developed as females in their youth. Also, female respondents of a particular survey reported a significantly higher mean of daily planning activities than male respondents. To assert or debunk these claims, there is the need for us to test with data provided. To further validate and qualify our research findings, there was the need for us to reframe our research question to: is there a relationship between one's gender and one's level of planning? The data set used in this study was the ninth round of the European Social Survey, the ESS, which was accumulated in the year 2019 and 2018. This is a very validated social survey that covers over 30 European nations since 2001 till date. The survey measures attitudes, beliefs, behavior patterns of diverse populations. It utilizes a multi-stage stratified probability sampling method to select representative samples of the population in each participating country. This sampling method helps to ensure the reliability and validity of the survey's results and enables cross-national comparisons to be made. With over 5,000 respondents and about 3,000 valid responses averagely from the countries of my focus in this study, there was the need for decoding and recoding. The table below shows a summary of the variables being used, where gender was recoded from 1 and 2 to male and female respectively, and future planning levels, which ranged from I plan for my future as much as possible all the way to I just take each day as it comes, had to be subsegmented into three different variables values, which stood for plans a lot, somewhat plans, and hardly plans. Based on the data given, there was the need for us to qualify our association and have our hypothesis tested. So our null hypothesis is stating an independence between these two variables, that is a person's gender and his or her tendency to plan, whilst the alternative hypothesis states that they are not independent, suggesting a probable association between these two. A chi-square test of independence was used to test the association between these two categorical variables to determine whether their association is strong or not. Based on the data provided, a bivariate graph and table were designed and analyzed to determine the relationship between one's gender and one's level of planning. It can be seen from the graph as well as the table that over all sections being considered, the difference does not exceed a value of 3%. However, to have a more solid statistical stance, there is the need for us to perform further tests, which leads us to the chi-square test of independence. The table shown is the values generated from a statistical software, namely RStudio, when performing the chi-square test on the variables in question. X squared being 0.46, the degree of freedom being 2, and a p-value of 0.79, with a significance level of 0.05 being used and the p-value being greater than 0.05, we fail to reject the null hypothesis, showing no association between gender and level of planning. In conclusion, based on the data and analysis done, we see that there is no significant association found between gender and planning. Based on this, I recommend a gender neutral planning where gender is not considered for planning activities. I suggest in this because in a world where certain genders are discriminated upon, data showing the strength or the lack thereof of both genders gives an equal playing ground for all to excel. Individualized planning approaches is also recommended, as the gender of one does not affect the planning tendencies and capabilities of the individual. Lastly, there is the need to promote awareness, as it is necessary that all know the significance or lack thereof of this association, and hence do not discriminate against other genders based on preconceived notions. Thank you. And